Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Dartpit. I'm your host, Cooper. The co-host, Tristan. Recurring guest for the third time now, Aidan.
Yes,
and
sir.
a new special guest. You've heard us talk about him before. His name is Dylan.
What's up, guys? What's up?
That's a good one, Dylan. Yeah, we actually have an episode coming out 2 weeks in a row. I didn't think it was possible, but we
Bless
did.
Bless up.
We're still late, but
No,
it's still late.
apparently not.
What do you mean we?
Apparently, according
What do you mean we?
It's so I corrected myself.
yeah, Aidan thinks
Better.
that since
Know
he's
your
been in
place.
3
Know your
straight
place.
weeks, he's a official member of the podcast now.
I said honorary guest. I didn't say official member
You did off
or honorary
recording.
member.
Aiden's a
So
two-face, by the way. On the podcast.
So am I
he's a
getting
nice
paid
person.
before or after this?
Yeah, your wire transfer.
Speaking of pay,
$5
if you guys remember from the last episode, we talked about our favorite school-time rapper, Tiger Roy, and how I said I could probably get him on the podcast. Yeah, not gonna happen because he wants money to be on the podcast, and not gonna happen.
We have a tight budget here.
What do you mean? Dylan, this is your, what the hell? Dylan, first off, this is your first time on the podcast, and second off, we don't use we here unless me and Tristan are talking because you're just a guest.
No, you have to say we because this is a communist.
Yeah, we own to each
If this
his
is
own.
communist, then I technically own it because I'm the superior being here.
That's fair. We just get the turnips and Cooper gets all the money.
Oh,
Well, Tristan's like my second in command, so he gets
That's
Half a
pretty
turnip.
racist. Just because I'm not as white as you doesn't mean you can do that to me.
All right. Well, let's not bring race into the podcast. Can't remember what we were
Should
talking
be.
about before it ended.
Tristan obviously killed his family.
Yeah, they're no longer with us. Rest in peace.
But yeah, Tiger Roy. Don't think he's gonna be coming on the podcast for a while. I'm gonna have to hold his family hostage or something, but we'll figure it out. Don't really know where to go from here. We don't really have anything set up, but
Yeah, like
I seen the new
Like I said-
Deadpool movie yesterday.
Yes, we did.
So
all right, listen. We're not talking about Deadpool because we're not a movie review podcast. I've already said this once, and I'm not gonna say it again. Vegas.
When did you say it?
Vegas.
Yeah, when
Vegas
did you say
Golden
it?
Knights.
Today, if we are recording this, which is Sunday, May the 20th, the Vegas Golden
Precisely.
Knights have made it to the Stanley Cup final. Either going to
Well,
be playing Tampa
technically,
Bay or
Cooper.
Washington. Go ahead.
Technically, Cooper, we're currently recording this on Monday because it is 12:07 a.m.
Okay, you know what?
So,
You know what? No one cares. No,
Sorry.
That's a new.
but
So
seriously, like that is honestly insane.
what
to
is
have-
that, dude?
What is what?
an expansion team.
Yeah, what is an expansion team making it to the finals of the league
Like
in their
that's not
first year?
allowed. That should not be allowed.
They're
Dude, it's like
breaking
it's like the
system.
dude, it's like the NFL. It's rigged.
I'm
Well,
seriously
obviously
considering.
is.
I'm seriously considering getting a William Karlsson jersey.
I want to get a flower jersey.
Why?
Fucking come on.
Because, dude, William Karlsson's a beast. In Vegas is my new favorite team. Just
Okay,
kidding.
no.
I think he might be a one-hit wonder. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know.
Willie Karlsson.
Yeah, he's
like
not
him.
been that good in the playoffs.
He still has 6 goals in the playoffs. That's not
Yeah,
that bad.
but like
He's
not
had
as
he's had one good season. Like
Yeah, this is his
I mean,
first
he-
good season. He has the same amount of goals in the playoffs this year than he did in his entire last season last year. Like, insane.
I don't know. I just find it really
Dude.
crazy how a team that's been in the league for what, less than a year? No,
yeah.
they've been in. Never mind, they've been in the league longer, but that hasn't
This
played
is-
a full.
This
No,
team,
it would have been less fun a year still.
this
No,
time
because
last year,
They were in the
had
league,
one
but they
player
just weren't
signed.
playing. Yeah,
Oh.
that's unbelievable. And now they're on their way
And
to
they
the
s-
Stanley Cup final, and have a pretty
And they
decent
s-
chance at winning, which is
They're gonna
insane.
be good for a long time because they got 3 first-round picks last year. They got like Suzuki.
And they got a
who did they pick?
bunch this year too. I think they have the
Yeah.
next well, including last year. I think it was like the first 3 years or something, they have like 12 picks in the first round or something insane, which is ridiculous. Or not the first 2 rounds, I meant. Like, literally, they are a rebuilding franchise, or we thought they were a rebuilding franchise at the point, because, like, on paper, they shouldn't be this good, like, at all. But
Their management and coaching must be like.
well,
Yeah,
their
it's
GM
insane.
is like
He's
as a finalist for the GM of the year,
And their coach, he
and even they had
coached in Florida.
with was Veknikov or whatever his name is at the beginning of the season.
Oh, yeah.
she's-
Lepshikov or some shit.
I don't know, some name.
can't pronounce his
And you know, he left for the KHL because of everything going on there, and you know, he was pretty decent, but I don't know. But I just honestly find it really crazy how an expansion team that's hasn't even, well, I guess they played a full season, but hasn't even played like a full entire NHL season yet is already in the Stanley Cup Finals. Like, making the playoffs was one thing, and then when they swept the Kings, you know, that was crazy, and then, you know, beat the Sharks, and then now beat the Winnipeg Jets in 5 games, which I did not expect. I honestly thought it was going to be such a closer series than that. And again, Cole's predictions were wrong. He said that the Sharks were going to stomp Vegas, and then he said the Jets were going to stomp Vegas, and seen how those turned out.
What do you think
Yeah,
they're
you
going
also,
to play in the
you also
finals?
have to get props. You have to get props to Washington too, since they finally made it past the second round.
Yeah, now they beat out my Penguins. I'll give
But
them
now they're
respect for
on
that.
facing elimination tomorrow against
They are.
Tampa Bay Lightning.
I
Honestly,
hope Tampa wins.
I
want them to
don't know.
win.
I like Tampa. Tampa is my favorite my second favorite team. But I also have Washington winning the cup in my bracket challenge, so I'm kind of hoping that Washington gets through.
Washington
I
deserves
wanna-
to win the cup.
I want to, yeah, Washington deserves, but honestly, like, I want Washington to win too, but honestly, I just don't see them doing it. I think they're going to get eliminated tomorrow.
Nah, I don't. Because like all the games that the series has been, it's been pretty close.
It's been close. It's been really close.
But I think that they're gonna step it up in this game, facing elimination. And I think they're gonna force in Game 7.
I'm not
I think
sure
they're gonna
that
take
type
it
of
honestly.
team,
I don't know, man. I'm really
Wait, what
Kinda
is the
leaning-
series here now for Washington?
3-2
and
3-2 for Tampa.
3-2 Tampa. Oh.
Yeah.
That's
No, but honestly, I really do. I think Washington's gonna get it. Honestly, if I'm being all serious here, and I'm not trying to jump on a bandwagon, I honestly think Vegas has a really good chance
Yeah,
at winning the cup. They have at least, what is it, like 3 days off, and that's
Well,
if
didn't
there's
Vegas
not
do
a
really
Game
well
7.
against Tampa throughout the rest of the season though too?
They did pretty good against
Uh,
every team. I don't know exactly what the.
I mean, if you
season
can,
series
if you can
was, but-
stomp the Jets like that, then like
Well,
No, but like that was so
unexpected
unexpected because the Jets come out and you know
Tampa
they
stomped them through the season.
Shifley was
beat
like,
Minnesota, but I
insane.
mean, you know, Minnesota's Minnesota, and then beat the Predators, who I
Nash-
thought were really dominant against the Avalanche for a little bit there, and then you know, obviously the Avalanche got back into it, but I really didn't expect Winnipeg to be thundering the way they are through. Like, they had a good regular season, but they're just so dominant in the playoffs, and well, I mean, they're obviously not now, but they just
And their
couldn't get
team's
anything
still
going
young.
against Vegas, and it was just like, again, the games were really close. It was a 2-1 game, wasn't it? 2-1 today. It was like 3-2 the last time, and then I don't know. Vegas is just a solid all-around team, which, you know, on paper doesn't look like it, but Marc-Andre Fleury has been unbelievable throughout the playoffs, and some of the saves that he's made have been unbelievable. And I honestly, if you guys, people watching or listening, if you guys haven't seen some of the saves Marc-Andre Fleury has made and you're a hockey fan, look it up. It's unbelievable, some of the things this guy can do. And honestly, Vegas was very, very lucky to be able to get, you know, a goaltender like him in the expansion draft.
Yeah, we miss him in Pittsburgh.
And well, Pittsburgh also
I'm not
was,
gonna lie, I feel like you
dumb.
guys made the wrong choice. I think Marc-Andre is gonna be like Roberto Luongo, and he's gonna play well into his 40s, and he's gonna be
yeah, but
just as good as
Matt Murray's
Murray.
still
Matt
young,
Murray's 24.
and
Matt Murray's young as fuck.
yeah, and he's still learning, right? Because usually,
Yeah, but
like, I guess
don't
he's in
know, I
the
feel
I guess he's in the prime age right now for when goalies come into the league, because usually goalies don't
Coming into like 23, 24.
yeah,
that's when
they're not like
He came in at 21.
like actual players, or like
Yeah.
like they're not like
They're
the
backups.
the defensemen or the forwards who can come in and play at 18, 19. They have like it's a lot different coming in from junior to to the NHL.
Pro.
I mean, you could also say, well, like, it's still high level hockey. Yes, it is, but it's still different. And adapting from, being an OHL or, Canadian Hockey League forward or, any junior league for the matter, coming into the NHL is hard, but being an OHL, whatever, junior goaltender coming into the NHL is a lot harder because, the guys are a lot more skilled, have better shots than the guys you're facing in, the junior leagues, and are a lot more lethal than the guys you're facing against. So usually they don't play their first couple of years in the NHL, either in the AHL or back down to juniors and play a little bit down there. But if you look at a good example was the London Knights goaltender from last year, I believe. I can't remember his name right now. Tyler Parsons, wasn't it? Yeah, Tyler Parsons.
Yeah.
He got drafted, and he was great in the OHL, great in the World Juniors. I believe he's won gold with the U.S. in the World Juniors, and then comes into the NHL, and he's not even playing in the AHL right now. He's playing in ECHL for, I believe it was the Solar Bears, I believe. And he probably won't be playing in the NHL for at least a few more years. So, it's really tough to be a goaltender and trying to get in the NHL because, there's so many more spots for forwards and defensemen and stuff like that, but you really only need two goaltenders, your starter, your backup, and then maybe a third string. And then, your AHL, you have your starter, your backup, your third string, and then, down in the ECHL. So it's really hard to get drafted not drafted, but to play as a goaltender, because a lot of goaltenders get drafted, but they never play because your goaltender is basically your last line of defense and probably one of the most important positions on the team.
The goaltender is probably the hardest position,
Unless you're the Gold Knights, and then somehow they still didn't do that bad through the season, even though they went down to their third string.
They went down to their
they went down
string.
farther.
Or no, fifth string. Yeah, fifth string. And
Fifth string? Oh, I didn't know about that.
Still going ab. Yeah, he was a junior goaltender. Can't remember exactly what team he played for, but he was playing in the Windsor. I believe it was the Windsor Hockey League he was playing in, and then got the call up to play for Vegas when they were down 4 other goaltenders.
Imagine that you're taking shots from just shitty like Windsor League players that just to take shots from Connor McDavid 2 days later.
Yeah.
And that's honestly a big part of why Vegas was, in this. They have the depth at the goaltender position, in which we didn't know they had. We know they had Marc-Andre Fleury, and then before the Leafs traded with them to get Calvin Pickard. And then Malcolm Subban just absolutely blown people away. Couldn't crack an NHL roster, and, they were thinking, he's a big bust, and he was, drafted in the first round.
Went through waivers last year, and then got signed by Boston, I believe it was, and then
No, he played for Boston.
Played for Boston, yeah, but he went through waivers at one point.
Yeah, from Boston.
Thinking about retiring.
When Boston got sent down. Yeah, he was actually thinking about, quitting. He was not having a good time, and then comes into the, when Marc-Andre Fleury goes down and Calvin Pickard gets traded to the Leafs, comes in and steps up to the plate, and obviously, he got hurt, and then, he had to, move down, but he played unbelievable. Best season of his career, and I hope he can keep it up because I'm honestly a big fan of Malcolm Subban. I love the Subban brothers, and
2-3 years he'll definitely be the starter.
Yeah, he's starter material, definitely.
If he can keep it up, he was pretty bad for Boston, but if he can keep what he did up.
But Boston didn't really give him a chance.
Oh, I'm not saying that they didn't, but
in the
when
you
bit
have
that he did play,
Tuukka Rask, and then they had Khudobin at one point. And he's a pretty decent backup. It's kind of hard. It's kind of like the Calvin Pickard situation and Garrett Sparks situation in Toronto. We had Frederik Andersen, and then people were always thinking, all right, well, we got Calvin Pickard. Why don't you send Curtis McElhinney down and then bring Calvin Pickard up? But Curtis McElhinney, for being a backup and being as old as he is, played unbelievable for the Leafs this season. He was like, I believe he was like first or second in backup goalies who played less than 20 games or something, and even was good enough to the point that he played in the IIHF World's Championship this year for Team Canada. But he played unbelievable. So he didn't give us, he didn't give the Leafs a reason to send him down. So Garrett Sparks, who was, I believe he was like top 3 in AHL goaltenders this year, or Calvin Pickard, and the Leafs now have a really good goaltender depth, which we didn't have before. We had obviously Jonathan Bernier and James Reimer, who for some reason just absolutely just turned it off. But now we have Frederik Andersen, who was, honestly, I'm surprised who wasn't a Vezina candidate. And then, you know, Curtis McElhinney played well, and then we now have Calvin Pickard and Garrett Sparks in the minors, who both honestly could play in the NHL. As Garrett Sparks, like I said, Garrett Sparks is another one of those weird like little things. When, you know, he's injured or when he's like off his game, he's really bad, but when he's on his game, he can play hockey. Like he can literally, he's a brick wall. And the Marlies right now taking on the Phantoms in the AHL Eastern Conference Final. He's still unbelievable, and honestly I really hope that he gets a chance to play with the team next year and maybe get a chance at, you know, playing in net. But again, you know, when we've given him the opportunity before, he's not, you know, taken the opportunity and ran with it. He's been pretty awful, but honestly I'm really hoping he gets a chance to play with the Leafs next year, just because of, you know, I want to see him and see how he does. Along with a bunch of other rookies. Like the Leafs, I honestly have so much rookie depth, it's unbelievable. Obviously, you know, Kapanen, Andreas Janssen, Justin Hall, Travis Dermott, who probably will make the roster next year. We have Miro Aaltonen, who didn't get a chance to play with the Leafs, but he was lighting it up in the AHL. And then obviously, you know, we signed some new guys. We signed a couple defensemen, but two of the people were already pretty much part of the Leafs organization. We had them drafted, we just didn't sign them to contracts, and then we signed a center who possibly played on the fourth line, and then we signed a defenseman who looks pretty intimidating and stuff. So I'm really excited to see what's going to be happening in the Leafs organization next year. And like I said, we have depth on depth with, you know, rookies and everything. So I'm pretty excited. And then the upcoming draft, see what we can get.
It's a good time to be a Leafs fan.
Maybe we should move off the
from,
hockey. Yeah, so that we don't have 5 minutes left to talk about other stuff.
Well, no, because I feel like we're having a good conversation.
No, we're not.
You're
This is a one-side. Yeah, you're having a good conversation with
just because I know more.
Cooper.
Yeah, just because I have no more hockey than you guys. But you look at a team like the Montreal Canadiens, who have shit
Cooper,
depth.
shut up.
Cooper, no, we're not talking about hockey anymore.
Yes, we are.
Nope.
Yes, we are. No, this is my podcast. Shut the fuck up.
No, it's not your podcast.
Yes, it is my podcast. We're not having this debate.
No,
But
we're not
back to
talking
what I was saying.
about
Like,
hockey
if you have a look about the Montreal Canadiens depth, who are absolute
Okay,
garbage.
so we're playing this new game
It's-
called House Flipper. It's a pretty cool game.
No, we're not talking about. No, we're not talking about that.
Anybody see
No,
the
we're
new
not
trailer
talking
for
about hockey. So...
I'll end this
Happy
podcast
Time-
right now.
Happy Time Murders?
I will end this podcast right now.
No, you're not ending this
I will.
podcast, Cooper.
I have
I'll
control.
start up a new
Don't do this,
podcast.
No, you
buddy.
won't.
I'll start up a new
Don't do
podcast.
this.
Stop.
Okay.
We are not done.
Cooper, this is
Cooper,
a
you're
one-sided
talking about
conversation.
hockey.
30 minutes.
Yeah,
You can only talk about one
You
topic for so long.
singular have been talking about hockey for 30 minutes.
Yeah,
Cooper.
because
We
I
have
actually
no
know
chance
about
to-
hockey.
You
Maybe
don't
you guys
give
Yeah, but
us
I
any
mean,
chance
no,
to talk.
All right, talk then.
Well, now
Okay,
we
so
can't.
Alright, so we're moving on.
No, we're talking about hockey
Moving
still.
on.
Go ahead about talk about hockey.
no, we're not talking about hockey.
Yes,
we're
we
not
are.
talking about hockey.
Yes, we are.
We're going to talk about the Crew 2 coming out next
No,
month.
we're not
What are you
talking about the
guys'
Crew 2.
What are you guys' thoughts on Crew 2?
We're not talking about the
I-
Crew 2. Not happening.
I don't know, dude.
I have mixed feelings about it.
because supposedly they barely changed like the driving
Surrounded by
mechanics, and
idiots.
They weren't very good in the first one, and they added airplanes and boats, and I don't know how I feel about that.
I'm out of this
but-
discussion. I'm not talking, so you guys can talk.
Fine. Okay, we don't need you, Cooper.
Honestly,
You don't need
I don't
to.
know. I think a perfect racing game, in my opinion, Forza Horizon. Like, I want a Forza Horizon for the PS4.
Yeah,
Xbox
because, like,
sucks.
That'd be awesome.
Xbox.
Forza Horizon for the PS4 would be Awesome.
If
Gran
Xbox ever
Turismo
wanted to
could just
sponsor
stop
the
being a little
podcast, I'd
asshole.
tell them no.
If we had Forza Horizon I'd like trade my soul for
Yeah.
Forza Horizon for the
Yeah. Like, I mean, that's just our
anybody-
opinion.
If
Like,
anybody wants a free
was-
soul, Aiden can provide.
That's just our
just keep
opinion,
Forza
and everyone else
Horizons.
who has ever played
Doesn't-
Forza Horizon.
Honestly,
And if
Crew
you
2 not gonna be too bad. I don't think. I think it's gonna
The first one
try
was,
to.
like, The first one was pretty
I
average.
played the first
like-
one more than I probably should have.
Yeah, I
It's-
know. It
it's
wasn't
definitely
even that
gonna-
good, but I actually played it a lot. Like, I don't know why. It was...
I
It's
played it more than I
definitely-
played Need for Speed.
It definitely learned more from like all its mistakes on the last one, like all the driving mechanics.
Hopefully.
So I think that it's gonna be a better game. I think that they're gonna take inspiration from Forza Horizon, obviously, with how they do free mode. But I think
Oh.
they are gonna keep their own little twist on it. With,
I thought it was a good idea. I remember when it first, like, the first trailer dropped for the first one. Like, I was so excited. I thought this was going to be, like, better than Forza, best racing game of all time. And then it came out, like, it has the cool idea, like, how you can, like, put, like, the specs or whatever, like, the off-road specs.
Yeah, but I don't know how I
Um,
feel about that spec stuff though, because that's what I like about the Forza games is that you take any car you want and you just tune it so that you can like drive it off.
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
Like you build
Like,
it into a
it's-
drift car and stuff, not just like.
I feel like it's a game
I-
to, like, for, like, people that don't know, like, that much about cars. Like, because, like, with Forza, you actually got, like, actual parts that you have to,
Like
like, upgrade, you know?
Very
Like,
arcade. It's very. Forza Horizon is the perfect mix.
Aiden, I'm gonna
between
stop your
the
eating. You're
arcade
having some
racing of just like
yeah,
fun
Aiden,
and, like,
Aiden, you're
your mic's
kind of
going
dying
for
a
the-
little bit. So we're gonna. I'm gonna continue what Aiden was saying. He's saying something about a perfect mix of arcade. Aiden's playing it right now. I don't know. He's kind of shitting on it, but he's playing the Crew original right now. So
Wait,
Yeah.
wait. Hold on.
Aiden doesn't.
Can we talk about something real quick?
If
What do
it's
you wanna
hockey,
talk
no.
about?
Can we talk about how Team Canada doesn't get gold medal or even get a medal and
Okay.
how we got beaten by
I'll
Switzerland?
allow you to talk
Switzerland.
about this.
Switzerland.
Switzerland.
No.
By
Who the
no
No.
means
First
goalie.
off. Who is their goaltender and how does he make 56 saves? It was like 56 or 54 saves in a game against Team Canada, who had Connor McDavid, like Ryan O'Reilly. How? Explain to me. I
How
watched
many
like the
NHLers
last
are
10
from
minutes of the game,
Switzerland?
and Switzerland
Yeah,
had
you're good,
one
Aiden.
shot on the Canadians' net the entire third period, and that went in, and that was the game-winning goal. Do you know how salty I was? Like,
Who was the goalie for Team Canada this year on the IHF?
it was a mixture between Curtis McElhaney and on Kemper, I think. Whatever his name
Well,
is.
that's your
Darcy
problem.
Kemper?
Yeah, Darcy Kemper.
All right, well, we're
There's
done with
no
the
actual. There's
But-
no actual starting goaltender.
But
there.
Switzerland's
It's not
even worse. Like, Darcy Kemper's, like...
Switzerland was
a
the
known-
4th seed in their division, or like the group or whatever. Like they barely made it in, and somehow get silver. Obviously, Sweden won again somehow because they're dominant the world for some god reason, and we lost 4-1 to the United States. Explain.
I don't know. 4-1? I mean, United States were on a tear there for a little bit, and then, like, they just kinda,
Sweden
like,
went undefeated. They didn't lose, not one game,
Undefeated, God. That's rough.
Yeah.
and they won last year too. They ripped it from Canada's hands in the shootout. I remember watching it,
I remember.
and then William Nylander got
I
player of the tournament.
wait. Are we talking about the Olympics?
No,
No.
don't worry
Aiden,
about
stop.
it. You don't
Why?
know.
All right.
One thing I didn't like though is that a bunch of countries were using their Olympic jerseys and we didn't. I believe it was like Finland and stuff used their
Wait,
Olympic
did Russia
jerseys.
use, like, that jersey that said Olympic Athletes of Russia or some shit like that?
No, it's
No.
not Russia though. It's not Russia. It's the Olympic
Oh,
athletes
wait.
of Russia. They're two different things.
representing Russia. They can represent Russia. Dylan, they're not banned from that. They're just banned from the Olympics.
Oh, no, I was
Wait,
just
was it
wondering
just-
if they used
Was it just this year that they were banned from the Olympics, or was it like
Yes.
I don't know.
for like
I-
like a
No,
temporary?
it's
ban?
no, it's just one like thing. They can come to the Summer Olympics. Like they can
Okay.
still come, but like their flag isn't banned or whatever.
Well, they just went in timeout for a little bit then.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they still got caught doping, even though they were like basically kicked out of the Olympics. They were still
Yeah, that
Olympic
one
athletes.
guy did. The one guy got kicked out. The one
think
guy
there's a
was
couple
doing
guys.
it in the Olympic athletes. I know. I wasn't saying that there wasn't.
Yeah, I
that
don't
one.
know.
Was
It's
making sure that there was
stupid.
one.
It's one of those things, you know. Just gotta get those pucks in the net. Gotta get those
Yep,
holes.
Mother Russia, dude. What are you gonna do?
So May 2-4.
All right, well, what's
It's
the
May
next
2-4. I haven't really done. Actually, I had. It's not over yet. Sunday, or I guess. Shut up. It's Monday. I don't care. It's too late to record podcasts, dude. I don't like recording them at night.
Yeah, it is still May 2-4. That's the Mondays. off.
Honestly, May 2-4 like this year, I don't know. It's kind of shitty. I had to work like.
Oh,
think
yeah,
it is.
and
I went.
it was rainy and
I
stuff.
went to a party. Well, it wasn't really called a party, but I went to a buddy's house on Friday night, and then
How was that?
it was alright. It was pretty fun. Tiger Roy actually fell into the fire, which was kind of funny. And then Saturday night we went to go see Deadpool, and tonight's just a chill night because I could really care less about
You
going
mean
out.
last night?
I'm pretty sure you mean this
Last
morning.
night.
It's still technically nighttime, you dumbass.
No, it's this morning now.
I'm fucking with you.
I'll kill you.
Yeah. What are you do? What's your hollow threat for today?
Come on, hit us with it.
Don't torment me.
I'm
Don't
gonna tell the
don't
teacher.
test me.
Oh shit.
Or I'll sick Cole on you. I'll make you hang out with Cole for a week.
No, no, don't make us smell.
No. Okay,
If you
I give
do-
up. You succeed.
Oh yeah, you guys didn't know Cole's still banned from the podcast.
Yeah.
I don't think
If-
that's gonna change. He's being
One
a
day we're
salty
gonna
little bastard
forget.
though.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe
Didn't invite
if
us
he's
to May
lucky, he
2-4
can come
fire.
on for. Maybe if he's
He's gonna,
lucky,
like-
he can.
No, I
We're gonna forget
refuse.
to make the
Shut
party
up.
private. Go ahead.
Alright guys, let's have a
Um,
screaming match
so
on the podcast.
Maybe.
Thanks,
Maybe
man.
if he's lucky, he can come up onto episode 99, not 100. We're not gonna give him the satisfaction of like an even number for what episode he can come on. It's gonna be
No,
99.
just give him an
and
episode
then
like
never
negative
again.
2. No, let's
Negative-
just.
I don't
Oh
think
no!
that's how
Here's
it
the new
works.
joke. Cole was actually on the lost episode. We had him on the first one that we filmed, and then we
Yeah,
lost
but-
the files for it.
What do you mean?
No,
You
they-
didn't film. You weren't there.
Yeah, you weren't.
They
you weren't
did.
even there.
They shut up. They had him on
Quit
the first
saying we.
episode, and it disappeared.
No, we didn't.
Know what? Know what we should do? We should bring him on and just bully him until he just so he
Well, we
doesn't
do that
come on the
without him on.
podcast.
Yeah, you should have heard last episode.
I'm scared.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah, 'cause
Cooper.
Dylan doesn't
Okay,
listen
I got
to
a
our
story.
episode.
Cooper, I got a story.
Alright.
So,
Is it like your
no,
one from
you know
last
that-
week? We should have a new segment called
it's
Tristan's Dumb Stories of the Week.
No, so this one occurred at school. It actually included Dylan, somewhat of you.
Okay, wait, hold on,
and,
hold on.
and Cole.
Dylan, I really encourage you to watch last week's podcast just to hear Tristan's dumb Canadian Tire story.
Alright.
Okay.
Alright, go ahead.
So we're sitting around the lunch table in the cafeteria, and we're having a jolly old time. And Dylan, I don't know, how did you get into Cole's phone this time?
Oh, a little bit of
I didn't know it
little bit
was
of
sitting there
foreshadowing.
open.
Last week I talked about
Was
how
it?
my fingerprints in Cole's phone, and Cole doesn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
he left it
so-
open, so I took it.
Yeah,
and,
you
like,
left
he
it
thought
open. So he's like, Dylan, how did you get into my phone? Stop. And then he finally gets the phone back from Dylan after Dylan toying with him for like 5 minutes. And then he's like, wait a minute. Your fingerprint's in this. I know your fingerprint's in this. And then Dylan's like, no, my fingerprint's not in it, because his fingerprint genuinely wasn't in it. It was Cooper's. So, and he knew that.
Oh, and another thing,
Did you
I
know
wasn't
that Cooper's was in
there
it?
that day.
Yeah,
I
Cooper
wasn't there that
there.
day.
Cooper wasn't
Yeah,
So
and then
did
Cole
you know
made
that it
Dylan
was-
test
Yeah.
all of his fingers.
All of
prove
them.
that-
Did
lost-
you
I
know it
lost-
was Cooper's that it was, or were you just oblivious that Cooper
I
had
did
it?
not know. I did not know.
How
at
did
the
you not
time.
know? I've told you. I told you when we were at.
No, I honestly didn't know.
Alright,
Like,
never
I'm
mind,
serious.
But while I was live texting to this to Cooper while it was happening as well. So I'm like Cole found your fingerprint on his phone, because this was when Cole was like, I know your fingerprint's in his
Yeah,
phone.
but
He's
I
like,
don't know if he did delete it or not, because he said that my one
No,
finger
I
doesn't
don't
work
think he
anymore.
did. No, he
And then-
said my one finger doesn't work, because he kept on trying it. He's like, my thumb work and my other thumb work, but I have my pointer finger on it, and it hasn't been working for a while, so I know that's your fingerprint. And Dylan's like, it's not. Want me to test? And then he tested all his fingers. He's like, Maybe my fingerprint's just broken.
What if I
And,
slap my wiener right on there? Just like use that as like the scanner.
I have sources and they tell me it works. So
I don't like that.
Probably.
So
I'm
I think
not-
I think
I'm
I
not
think,
lying.
I
Search
think
it
the
up.
coast
Not
is
too
Search it
clear
clear.
up.
on how I feel about that.
I think the coast is clear at the for the time being, and Cole doesn't
Yeah,
suspect
I
it.
think,
He also doesn't watch these episodes, so he still won't know.
Yeah,
No,
he
he
is
actually
right.
did watch. He started watching that episode, and then,
I don't think he would have watched this far in though. Not
No, he
at all,
wouldn't
like.
have.
that's why I was gonna like I should probably cut this out. Yeah. So we'll keep you guys posted, and if Cole finds anything, we'll let you guys know. But he's
You
pretty
guys
dumb,
are all
so
invited to
he won't figure
Cole's
it out.
funeral.
So Dylan, do you actually have a locker at Canadian Tire yet?
Yeah, it's right beside yours. I
Is
put
it?
all my stuff in a locker, and I'm like, oh shit, there's Tristan's. I was like, right beside you. I didn't even know. I
Like
just kind of put it in there.
on the same row, like left to
Yeah,
mine, right
like
to mine?
left
Oh,
yours, like the very corner, very corner.
Oh, nice. Is yours hard to get open? Cause mine, I have to use like the power of Thor's hammer times 5 to get that open.
That's funny because I tried to open your locker to fuck with
Yeah,
it.
it
and
doesn't work.
It doesn't open. It doesn't open.
I know it doesn't open.
Yeah, my
like-
locker for my. I probably shouldn't say this on the podcast. Oh, never mind.
God damn it.
Say
Don't worry
it.
about it. No,
Say
don't
what
worry
you
about
want
it.
to say, and
No,
let
don't
your
worry
words
about
fall out.
I'll tell you after.
Will you?
My locker doesn't lock, so I mean, like.
No, well, you're getting
Nice.
robbed.
Yeah, I don't have a lock on mine either, but it's kind of like the
Oh, now that you guys are saying, yeah, my locker's my locks are broken too. I don't know what happened to it.
My locker for school doesn't work, and
Oh,
my
it does?
locker I don't have a lock for my one at Canadian Tire. I just
Yeah.
no
Yeah,
one
that's
uses
why
it.
that's why at school, the stinky boy always goes and tries to mess with the one's locker.
Yeah. Canadian Tire is like the honor system. Apparently in Walmart, there's like a big problem with people stealing out of other people's
Oh.
locker. But
Sorry
it's
for
not
working
people
at
stealing.
Walmart?
It's a
People suck at
conspirator at our
Walmart.
school breaks into Walmart and steals stuff out the lockers. Is probably what's happening.
Nick,
It's probably Curtis.
Right.
All of like the people
Can't
at
announce
Canadian
this stuff on
Tire.
live television.
I don't care.
I heard that
That's
Walmart's
why you
like
have security cameras.
We don't actually. I think we have one security camera in all of the staff room, and it's in the corner, so it doesn't see the where all the lockers are. So somebody could just go and rob me blind, and then they'd be like, "Well, we don't
Oh,
have
no,
cameras
they-
over there." So.
What if they steal your Coke, Tristan? That'd be a real shame.
Next week's
well, I
story:
already threw it
Tristan
out,
gets
so-
robbed.
Do
When
you
do
want
you
me to
guys
have
want
a
me to do
segment where
my,
I tell a story from Canadian Tire, like a legitimate story? Because I got one.
If it's anything like the last one, ho ho ho, we're in for a treat.
Wait, what was the
no,
last one
no,
about,
it's-
Tristan?
It's
I
not
said,
really.
we
Well,
gotta watch-
anyway,
you gotta watch the
we-
episode.
we
Recap.
gotta watch. Yep. Watch the weekly recap on the front of every episode. But anyway, so when I worked last time, I'm on cashier, so I see a bunch of like weird people, and so this week I saw a full
Especially
Amish
in
family,
Chelsea.
full beard, like
Oh,
full
this.
Basically me.
yeah, full Amish values, like no electricity, riding a horse and carriage down to Canadian Tire to go get their. I can't
There's a
remember what they
twist.
got.
Get their
I think they
Isn't
got
it kind of
like
against? Isn't it kind of against the rules in like the first place to buy stuff at Canadian Tire?
No.
yeah, well,
No, you can
these-
go into places.
Yeah,
I think.
you can go in.
can't,
You
like-
just can't ride motorized vehicles and have any
electricity.
things in your
Have
house.
anything newer than the 1850s?
They live
Yes.
in the huts, bro. They live in huts.
And so anyway, I'm ringing them through, and one of their like I think they had 6 kids with them. One of their 6 kids had a 2DS with them playing Pokemon, and I'm like,
Okay, it's not allowed.
I was just sitting there flabbergasted. This like chubby little Amish kid with a straw hat and like plaid shirt on, like full Amish, just chilling with the 2DS, and then his mom's looking over at the 2DS and like showing him what buttons to press. I'm like, okay.
Is that-
Should,
wait,
I
what?
report this,
So the-
should I report this to the
He has a
church? Yeah, this was
2DS.
Saturday.
Hmm.
I'm like, should I report this to the
That's
church or
weird.
what? Because the church,
I don't remember
the
seeing any Amish people.
church
They
would
might
be
have not
breaking
hidden.
Amish, dude.
Yeah.
Just
That's
And
call
then
it
the other
Amish
thing we
Mafia.
saw, we were just chilling. So they usually overbook near the end of the day how many cashiers, because there are a lot of student cashiers on cash. So usually it gets really busy in the middle of the day, but it slows down. So we're just sitting there doing nothing, and then this other, I think he was Amish too. This Amish midget comes by. He literally looks like what's that one guy's name? Dinkelman
Amish little person.
Dinklage. Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage. He was like photorealistic to Peter Dinklage, but he also had a straw hat and a beard on him. But like he was the exact same size as him too, and I think he had the same type of dwarfism as Peter Dinklage. It was pretty interesting. I'm not gonna say funny because that would be a little messed up, but it was definitely
I'm not gonna
interesting.
lie, I don't get too many weird people in like my
Yeah, because you're in
department.
living. You have all the decent people who need living supplies. If you worked in like hardware or like sports, you just see all those like get her done, fella, yeehaw! Like your uncle
Yeah.
probably is like your uncle with the Ford Ranger is probably like our top customer.
Have you
in
seen him?
sports. Have I? No, I don't think I've seen it. I probably have. He's probably come through my till like 17 times. I just don't know what to look for.
He's a bigger guy, got a big
That's a-
beard.
That's about
That's about
53% of all people. Yeah.
In Tilsonburg, yeah.
Well, people who come in the store anyway. I'd say so. This is about the power rankings of who comes through. 65,
A lot of
65-year-old guys. 65-year-old guys. A little heavy set would probably be the first. Then second, probably Amish. Then third, like Amish Mennonite, that is. And then third, I'd probably have to say skinnier old people. And then at the very bottom is like all the other people. Just
Every
like-
Fridays, there's a lot of. I feel
Yep.
like all the Mennonites they come like right at the end. I don't know why. That's weird.
Yeah, they're like right near the end of the shift. Yeah, like I don't know what it is. They just feel the need to come at like 9
if we
o'clock.
work from, yeah, it's like why?
Wow, you hear? But yeah, that's about all my story. Cooper, you
So-
got anything else for us
Some
today?
tire talk.
Tire talk with Tristan and Dylan.
No, I don't have anything else. I'm tired. I want to go to bed. I'm tired. So I think
Don't
we're
go
gonna
to
wrap it up
bed.
here.
No, we're gonna talk about Spider-Man 3 for like 2.5 seconds, okay?
All right, go ahead.
So
No, we
Spider-Man
we already
3.
talked about Spider-Man 3 on the podcast before, didn't we?
Have we? No, but we haven't
I'm
talked about the
pretty
true best
sure we
Spider-Man
have.
though. Let's talk about the true best Spider-Man.
I'm pretty
for 2
sure we've already had
seconds.
this debate
Tom
before.
Holland.
No, not Tom Holland. It's
I'm
Tobey
pretty sure in the
Maguire.
second episode we've talked about Spider-Man.
No,
Wait,
well,
can
anyway,
I do, wait,
Toby.
Can I do my segment that we talked about prior to this?
You don't have a segment.
No, we're not.
You're a
We're
guest.
not doing the ASMR segment, Aiden.
Why not?
Because
Just for like
I
10
don't think
seconds.
people
All right,
would
before
really
this gets any more out of the
appreciate
control, we're gonna end it up here.
10 seconds.
No. All
Tom Holland is the best.
right, so everyone, I'm gonna thank you all for listening or watching. If you've made it this
Now
far.
welcoming Flex Tape.
Okay. Yep, we're done. We're done. All right, so
The demons are getting
as
out.
always,
Tape it up.
as always, you
Jeremiah's here, guys.
As always, you can find the official Dartpit podcast Twitter in the description, as long as mine and Tristan's Twitter.
Go on Pornhub to find our videos on there too.
Aiden,
Thanks, videos.
Dylan, anything you guys want plugged?
Tom
shout
Holland
out,
is the best Spider-Man.
shout,
And Flex Seal is used to keep the demons in.
Dylan, you want?
I
your
got my dick stuck in a
Instagram,
phone
anything?
once. I once got my dick stuck in a phone once.
Okay. Yep.
What type?
we're
Like a
done.
flip
Good night.
phone? What are we talking?
I'm talking about like a brick phone, like one of those
Also, at
things
the
like
end of
outside
this,
the brick. You
also
could
at the
kill
end of this
someone.
podcast, I'm gonna have the clip that I said I was gonna put in the last one that I didn't end up doing because it was a little bit
Yeah.
late and Tristan already got done rendering it. So I will have
Penguins of Madagascar,
the
greatest TV
Toronto
show
clip
ever.
of when we were in the CN Tower. Oh, actually, before we go, Dylan, I want your opinion on the CN Tower because Dylan was one of the people that went with us on this trip and is absolutely terrified of heights.
You know what? It was actually like, it was
I think
scary.
your
Like,
topic's allowed to stay in.
Because I just popped in my head.
I don't know. It was terrifying, but like, it's something you gotta do. Like, if you go to Toronto, just go to the CN Tower. It's like $40 or something like that.
At the time,
You go
Dylan
up.
wasn't thinking this. Dylan was freaking out.
Yeah, but like, you got it. Like, I'm satisfied that I did it. Like, just to say that I did it. I hate heights, bro. Like, it was like I
This
got
kid was having
nauseous
a
when I
heart
got.
attack.
I was nauseous when I got to the top. I was like, Oh my god, it was scary, but
How come you didn't
Good
want them to
times.
drag race the elevator?
drag race the elevators, dude.
If you
I
guys
asked the
don't,
one guy in the elevator. He's like, I was like, has anyone died on this? And he's like, yeah. I was like, oh shit.
no, but
Thanks
it
for
was
the
it
reassurance.
was from
buddy.
construction though. It wasn't from.
Yeah, I know. That's what
And
he
the guy
said.
was
Like,
the guy was on the ground floor too, which was funny.
Rough.
If you guys want more insight on what we're talking about last week, I talked about how we took a trip to almost said Ottawa, to Toronto because we have a friend that lives there. But now we can wrap it up. I want to thank everyone for listening. Like I said,
Don't forget about our SoundCloud. Listen to it on our SoundCloud. Shout out to the one person who's actually listened to every episode on our SoundCloud. I can't remember your name right now, but it really helps getting that all our
Publicity.
SoundCloud money.
we actually have
Yep.
a person that listens on our SoundCloud, like religiously.
Yeah, like every episode, all three.
Yo,
our
the
goals.
person who's listening on SoundCloud right now, if you want in on an episode, let us know. I'm so down to have people on the podcast. Like I said, hopefully next week we're not gonna have Aidan on here because he's been on 3 times in a row, and I feel like that's just dumb. So,
Can I say one
I
last thing before we end it?
yes.
No.
Go.
Baby boss ate my ass.
Baby boss is outside of my house.
All right. Thank you everyone for watching. Like I said, everything down in the
boss called me a
description
cunt.
below. And all right, well, I'll have to
Colin
edit
baby
that out.
boss.
All right. Thank you guys for listening, and peace out.